YouTube, my name is Jake Asman. Welcome into my channel. In this exclusive video, we will react to the breaking news involving the New York Jets and their safety, Marcus Maye. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe below. I expect this video to get a lot of views as we react just minutes after the tweet from Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network telling us the latest with Marcus Maye and the Jets, who have until July 15th. So if you're not following, that is 2 days away to work out a long-term deal. Otherwise, Maye has to play on the franchise tag. So please subscribe below, like this video, and comment your thoughts after you watch it. All right, let's talk about the news that just came down from Ian at the NFL Network. Let's read you his tweets, and then we will read through the tea leaves about what it all means. First tweet: despite the Jets publicly stating their efforts to relentlessly re-sign team MVP Marcus Maye, the team has not responded to his last proposal, and that offer has been pulled off the table, sources say. With 48 hours until the tag extension deadline, no deal is expected. Okay, so that gets put out there. Now let's read through the tea leaves. Who's putting that out there and why? Well, that's not the Jets putting that out there. That's Marcus Maye's side of things being put out there. So that's his agent. His agent is Eric Burkhart, providing Ian Rappaport with that information. Why is he doing that? Well, he wants to try and put pressure on the Jets to get a long-term deal done. The object of that tweet coming out is so you Jet fans, us fellow Jet fans, are like, what are they doing? The Jets got to sign Marcus Maye. Whoa, how do they not sign him? The reality is deadlines spur action. Let's not make too much of anything yet until we see what happens when this deadline on Thursday happens and whether or not the Jets work out a deal long-term with Maye. So keep that in mind as I read you now the second tweet from Ian Rappaport at the NFL Network. Quote, source adds, negotiations went south weeks before the tag deadline when the Jets offered Maye a deal that had an average percent a year value 20% below even the tag amount for 2021. So Marcus Maye is expected to make, if he plays this year on the tag, $10.612 million for some context. So Maye turned down that offer from Joe Douglas and the Jets, and apparently there were significantly more APY and guarantees from multiple teams heading into free agency. Well, Maye was never actually going to hit free agency because the Jets knew $10 million a year for a safety that's 28. That's not bad if you don't have to sign that guy long term. So where do things stand right now? Clearly, the Jets don't want to overpay. Clearly, Marcus Maye, who's been a good soldier and has been a team captain, as it's mentioned in the tweet from Ian Rappaport, team MVP, clearly he feels like he's earned a long-term deal. And I'm in the middle here. I have talked about on this show that I think the Jets should sign Marcus Maye long-term. They have the salary cap space. He's been a good player. He's a player that this organization drafted. I understand it was a McCagnon pick and not a Douglas pick, but still, after you let Robbie Anderson walk, after you traded away Sam Darnold and Jamal Adams and Leonard Williams, I think it'd be a good sign if you could sign one of your own to a long-term contract. Now, all those other players I just mentioned, there were reasons why they had to be traded. There were. And I don't have time to go through all of it because if you're a Jet fan, you know why Sam had to go. You know why Jamal had to go. But Marcus Maye's been a good soldier. He's played well. He's a good player, good leader. He's the guy you look to sign long term. But you don't overpay. And the Jets are not going to be stupid here. I'm all about signing Maye if it's reasonable. You know, if you start talking about $13, $14, $15 million a year for an older player, he's 28, which is older in terms of an NFL guy finally reaching the point where he could sign his second contract. I'd be wary there. I think if you could get Maye for $11 or $12 million a year, you do it because it sends the right message to the rest of the locker room. But anything more than that, you know what? If Marcus Maye doesn't want to play football this year, then don't play football. But he's going to play football. He's got a finite amount of time to make this money. And this is not Le'Veon Bell all over again with the Steelers. He's going to show up. He will play on the tag for $10 million. And after this year, if he has a good year, the Jets probably won't franchise him again because the cost would be too great. He would probably hit the open market and he'd get the opportunity to get a long-term deal from another team if it's not the Jets. I say all that to still say this. As I sit here on a Tuesday reacting to the breaking news that just came out 6 minutes ago, if you're watching this after the fact, deadline spur actions. So the idea that the Jets still can't get a long-term deal done with Marcus Maye just because Ian Rappaport says that the two sides are not expected to reach a deal, that's negotiation 101. You're trying to put pressure on one side here. Eric Burkhart, Maye's agent, leaks this info to Rappaport. And even like I work in sports radio, so we have guys on all the time that are agents and media folks. And like I won't BS you here with this. This tweet is like crafted by the agent for Ian to send out. And I like Ian Rappaport. He's a friend of the show. But when Ian Rappaport is specifically mentioning, oh, well, the team MVP, Marcus Maye, despite the Jets publicly saying their efforts to quote, and then he uses quotes in the tweet, relentlessly re-sign Maye. Like these are verbiage. These are terms that the agent is giving Ian to put out to try and put pressure on the Jets. So here's the reality. Should they sign Marcus Maye? I think they should. They got the money. He's a good player. You want to keep good players in your building, especially good players that were a part of the hellhole that was the Adam Gase era and, came out on the other side of that still wanting to be Jets. Marcus Maye should be a Jet long-term, but you can't get stupid with it. You don't want to give this guy a long-term deal and it's Muhammad Wilkerson all over again. I was in the camp years ago. Pay Mo, big Mo, give him the contract. And he stunk. He got the money and he ran with it. Marcus Maye doesn't strike me as the guy that's not going to try or the money's going to change him. But he's the type of guy that you want to sign long-term within reason because he's 28 and he plays a non-premium position. It's a similar conversation to the one that we had last summer about Jamal Adams. I was in the favor of re-sign Jamal. He's that good. But when he became, just a perpetual child and when he blasted the coach publicly and when he was just liking things on Twitter that didn't paint the organization in a positive light, it was time to move on from him. And the Jets won that deal. They fleeced Seattle. We're going to be talking about the Adams trade for decades. That's how good of a deal it's going to end up being for the Jets. So as good as Jamal was, the Jets were bad when he was here. And it wasn't all his fault, but he plays a non-premium position. The same logic applies to Marcus Maye. He's a good player, but how many games are the Jets winning this year if they have Marcus Maye compared to how many games are they winning if they don't have Marcus Maye? One, not even. Like Marcus Maye's impact is not going to necessarily be felt in the overall wins or loss column. He's a important piece on that defense, but he's a piece. He's not the driving force of that defense. Like the Jets' best defensive player is Quinnen Williams or CJ Mosley. Those guys play more premium positions. Like those guys impact the wins loss column far more than a safety. If you're talking about defense, the players that impact the defense the most, cornerback, linebacker, edge rusher. Like those are three more important positions than a safety. So as much as I like Marcus Maye and he's a good player, good dude, team leader, team MVP, all that, you have to be smart with what the contract is because worst case scenario, he's not going to skip playing football this year. Worst case scenario, he's a guy that will be on your team on a 1-year deal for $10 million and you could worry about it next year. Or you could trade Maye if the Jets get a great offer for him. Now, I don't think they're going to get a big haul for Marcus Maye like they obviously did for Jamal Adams. But they're going to get something for him, and you consider it. And I would say, no, we're trying to win games this year. You already have enough picks. Marcus Maye's a good player. Let him play out the year on the tag. It's not the worst thing in the world. So that's where things stand right now. Tuesday, just after 4 o'clock Eastern time with the Jets and Marcus Maye. They have until Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern to work out a long-term deal. So 48 hours to go, essentially, between the Jets and Maye to work out a long-term deal. But overall, he signed the tag. So he's going to be a Jet, and it's just a matter of, well, is he a Jet for longer than this year? To be determined. But that's where things stand right now between the Jets and Marcus Maye. My name is Jake Asman. Thank you so much for watching this video. I wanted to jump on and react to the main news as quickly as possible. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe below. Comment your thoughts on the Jets and Marcus Maye. What would you like to see Joe Douglas do? Please let me know. And also, you could tweet me. I'm on Twitter at Jake Asman. Follow me there. If you want the Zach Wilson jersey link to get a jersey of the Jets quarterback for around $30 from a parts unknown website, then you got to subscribe to me below. Follow me on Twitter, shoot me a DM, and I will send you that link. I want every Jet fan to be able to get an affordable jersey that looks pretty good and is not going to cost you hundreds of dollars because what the NFL does with its jerseys is absolutely insane. Thanks so much for watching the channel. Go Jets. And I have a huge guest that all you YouTube Jet fans will recognize joining the page tomorrow. So check out that. and I will talk to you soon. So long, everybody.